I'm a New York hotel. I'm looking for someone who needs a weekend in the city. You hungry?
Here's my secret, or I'm going to tell you.
18-year-old Tom Simons is one of the most popular people on the internet.
Everyone gets one chance at life, at school, at everything. Most people get no chance at YouTube.
While still in high school, he experienced a meteoric rise thanks to his role in the Dream SMP Minecraft server.
We are playing on Dreams SMP,
which has grown an intense fandom similar to that of the Beatles or BTS. Now, Tommy has funneled that fandom towards his own stories, which he tells through Minecraft. On his channel of over 11 million subscribers.
Success, I invited every Tinder match to a date tomorrow on Minecraft.
We sat down to talk about his rapid growth and his struggle with identity on the internet.
Man, I'm not like confident. I didn't plan any of it.
We discuss his appearance on Logan Paul's podcast.
That interview was hard. This is really socially challenging.
And cover his thoughts on the future of YouTube.
I think it's bad for creativity. I think it's really like not good. What's up, guys?
What's happening?
Tom.
What's happening?
Tom.
How are we? Good?
We're great. How are you?
I'm always better.
I have a question for you. Are you living your dream right now? Like, is this your dream?
He's talking to us.
Yeah. Is this a dream?
In this moment?
Oh, just to meet you. Well, yeah, it's some dream. Yeah. No. Yes. Of course.
Yes.
Yeah. I am. I'm very much living my dream. This is pretty exciting.
Where did the dream come from? Like, when did it start?
I did Twitch for about like a year.
Thank you for supporting me in this time. Thank you for sticking with me, and I really do appreciate it.
And I remember I watched this guy called Original Ace, and he did like a comedy Minecraft video, and it was like a skit, and it was really funny. And I was like, this can be funny. Why am I streaming? This is awesome. And so that was when I was like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Welcome to Innit Incorporated, the home of Tommyinnit, Hypixel Skyblock's best YouTuber.
I heard you describe Minecraft as a canvas for comedy. Could you explain that a little bit for someone who maybe doesn't even really know what Minecraft is?
Yeah, so all this stuff costs like money and lots of time, and it like takes quite a lot to get here. But Minecraft it sort of replicates that dynamic of being with your friends and having fun, and it takes not very long to do, you can do a 2-hour recording and then go, that wasn't great, we can reshoot that like next week, and that's perfect. And if you view it more as a canvas to paint like anything on, because there's so many different ways you can do Minecraft, immediately opens up to being a billion more different things,
Especially because of the scale of people who play Minecraft and are familiar with Minecraft.
It's the most popular game.
Yeah.
So it was that combination of Minecraft, which you were already interested in, but then also comedy, that sort of made you understand, okay, that's the type of content I want to make. I'm curious for you, like, where does comedy come into play? As a kid, was there a moment where you started to understand that you enjoyed comedy, watched other comedians?
Yeah, I mean, every night before bed, I'd watch like a 20-minute sitcom with my parents since I was like 8, whether I should have been or not. So it's just always been like a part of my life. I didn't think about it very much when I was starting YouTube, but it was just because, innovation is just plagiarism with style. And it was just like all of my favorite YouTubers were funny. So I just made jokes, and my parents make jokes, and my friends make jokes. Like, why wouldn't you? Laughter's the best. Then sort of as I was doing that, came more of like a sort of talent that like I noticed later on. Like people being like, oh, he's funny. And I was like, oh yeah. I've always been loud, Colin. Okay. I've always been chatty, I've always been loud. So it wasn't like a huge like, oh no, I'm putting myself out there. It was like, nice. Let's be a dickhead, but now in front of people and not.
Got it. When did you start to realize that YouTube was something that was like picking up? Because when COVID started, you were at like 100,000, 180,000 subscribers.
110K.
110K.
Like that. Yeah.
That's crazy. Does that...
Just imagine you spraying your...
Yes.
I know a lot of that growth was from the Dream SMP. I think for us, having done a video about Carl Jacobs joining the Dream SMP, like the way we internalized it is that it's kind of like joining the Marvel universe in a way. Acceptance into it can totally blow up your career and the fandom around you.
I think for us, it was like making the first Iron Man film. Because I think Carl joined a bit later on, but we like the Dream SMP very accidentally started. And that was sort of just this like Minecraft server that just like Dream and George and his mates played. And it was like fine. It was just like any Minecraft server you'd have with your mates, and they just wanted a like bit of an outlet to stream. I asked him to be in, and originally he was like nah, sorry, it's just for like my close pals. Then I think he sort of saw the element of chaos and story it might bring. So I joined, and then it became quite a lot more for a few weeks, and it was quite a lot more like, oh shit, can I swear? Yeah, I can swear.
You can definitely swear. This is an X-rated show.
Now there's some action, some drama going, and then Wilbur joined, and that was when it became quite a lot more like sophisticated and literary, and that sort of blossomed the idea of like you can have almost like a theatrical story in a server. Because people had done that before, but it wasn't to this degree of sort of political and based off Hamilton, which had just released on Disney. So it was like, you know, everyone was sort of very fresh in everyone's mind. And people were like playing very close to versions of themselves. They weren't very far away.
So Dream, who put it together, you said, saw that you had an element of like chaos.
Yeah, he was hesitant to add me because he knew I'd just be a dickhead. But because I just like going on and doing things that are quite funny.
What type of things were you doing at that time?
Well, the first time I logged on, killed people, stopped blowing shit up, stole bits of things, and then pretended I didn't.
Put them back. Make me, bitch boy.
But bear in mind, the day before they were building a house together and reading donations. Then I joined, I'm fucking stealing and griefing and like swearing at people. So it was just very suddenly like
chaotic,
different. But yeah, chaos. Yeah, totally. It's much funnier than
that. Sounds like a lot more fun to watch, though.
Yeah. That's sort of when the SMP started.
Got it.
Yeah. But
so it was you.
It was all you.
Essentially, I am the catalyst of Minecraft. I'm the best. I have lots of women and no soul.
Yeah, I find it interesting that the members of the Dream SMP, like, yes, you're able to use Minecraft as a canvas to tell stories and, you know, bring out your personalities there. But actually, the Dream SMP has become a platform for people building massive audience that doesn't have to do with Minecraft, right?
Totally.
Like, so when did you decide that as like the SMP was taking off, you brought a lot to it, you know, you're at 100 some odd thousand subscribers. When does that turn into an opportunity for you to make more YouTube content, make vlogs, show your personality more?
I think some people are really calculated. You know, I think Mr. Beast, Dream, are really good at like predicting what's going to blow up and then doing it. And 90% of the time it does, you know. I'm not very calculated. I don't think I could do a 30-day thing that Ryan Trahan's doing. But what I think I am really good at is throwing shit out there because I find it funny and cool. And the set, like when it sticks, when it like is clear that, you know, it's received well and I enjoy it, I can expand on it like really well. So I think the thing, you know, my first vlog, I just went to go meet Wilbur. I didn't plan any of it. And I was like, oh, just film a bit of it. And then I went, oh, I like that. And then it was like my most sort of successful video. So I went, oh, all right. And I remember, you know, my parents didn't enjoy any of my Minecraft stuff, but they get my real life stuff. So it was like, oh, this is different and bigger than that.
You're pulling the camera out to film things that you're excited about.
Yeah.
And you might not, I mean, I'm curious, you can answer this question, but it's like, were you thinking about what's going to work versus what you wanted to film, and how much did that play into what you were filming?
Generally, like, I make things for me because I love making videos. I think, you know, if I wasn't getting paid to do it, I'd pay to do it. Like I'd love it. I've started reading, by the way, a book of filmmakers' quotes.
Oh, wow.
Yesterday.
Wait, is it called The Filmmaker Says?
Yes.
I have that book.
Yeah,
Great
now
book.
I read it all yesterday, and now I've just only been quoting it. So I'm just like, you know,
hit us.
Well, I just hit you. I just hit you.
It was already better than I expected. I expected that you were actually going to stop at, I've started reading books.
I've started reading.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, why are these screens not moving?
I have one from that book that I really liked. It was, well, I don't remember the exact one.
Oh my God.
Don't like fuck them all.
That was great. That's a great one. Fuck them all.
Which one was it?
Actual quote from the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's another one that says, making movies isn't hard. Figuring out what to make a movie about is hard. Yeah, that's a great quote.
That's good.
Yeah, because I think that is true.
Totally. Yeah.
You know.
Anyway, everyone who's watching this,
Yeah.
hopefully has a camera.
Right.
But no, not everyone's making stuff, you know?
Right.
What was sort of the inflection point for you that caused you to go all in on this?
I remember I was in my friend Schlatt's Patreon Discord, and he's now my mate, but he was my all-time favorite YouTuber. He's my inspiration. He's great. And I joined that, and I like linked him one of my videos in his little secret Discord chat he had for like people who pay lots of money. And I was like, please, will you tell me what you thought of my video? And then he replied, going, yeah, this is really funny, mate. I thought like this, thought maybe change that. That was especially powerful. But like, you're on your way, mate. And bearing in mind, this is my all-time inspiration, the biggest hero in my entire life at this point, being like, aside from my dad, of course. He's not listening. My father is over there, and he didn't. It's fine.
He just said,
I wasn't listening to it.
You're his biggest inspiration.
Sorry.
you're his biggest hero.
I mean, like, of course.
Yeah, not news to him. Yeah.
But yeah, I think, him saying, like, right, mate, like, he said this quote, everyone gets one chance at life, at school, at everything. Most people get no chance at YouTube. So, school is important. Don't fuck up. But like, this is a priority. This is awesome. And I remember that from my hero at the time being like, you're good, man. Keep at it, because this is good. I remember like, yeah, so that was...
That's really cool. That's an important thing to happen.
That was, yeah.
Is it odd that this all happened so fast and at such a young age? Does achieving something like this feel strange at this age? Does it almost feel like you won a video game too early?
Here's my secret, or I'm going to tell you. Everything feels strange. And it's awesome. And it is freaky and weird, but it's also absolutely awesome. I'm very grateful for all of it. So, rather than, I get overwhelmed at times, quite often, but so remembering it's fucking awesome. Let's go make something.
Right.
Yeah.
Is cool.
So you went in 2021, you went from 4 million subscribers to 10 million.
Yep.
That's a pretty big jump, right? And that's even a bigger jump from what you said before, quarantine, you were in the 100,000 range. So all of that, did it feel like pressure was building at that time to post, or did you feel
It was
pressure?
actually the biggest thing I remember from it is every week, me and my mum and dad would take the dogs out to this park, and like once a month I'd be like, "Oh, mum, I'm 5 million now." She'd be like, "Oh, all right, nice, that's great." "Oh, it's 6 mil now, mum." "Oh, well done, Tom, that's great." 7 now. "You all right?" Just kind of like once a week, which was always pretty funny, but it was still like, "That's great, Tom, go pick up the dog." And I'd be like, "Mum, I don't want to do this, mum." She'd be like, "Tough shit." And I'd be like, "It's fair." And then go pick up the dog. And it was really weird because as all of this went up and there's money and all of that was like, whoa, and numbers. For me, it was just subscribers, because no matter what happened, even when I still do now, even though I live by myself, but like more so then, everything was going up. But for me, like I was still being me. Then I was going to college. So all of that was going up, but I still had like my £4 meal deal in the park.
It is interesting that because of your age and where you were in life, as this explosive growth is happening, like your life isn't changing that much.
Really, I've been really fortunate enough to just really like how I've grown up and really like what I'm living and how it is.
As your business is picking up though, and you're getting more popular, where is the money coming from? Is it a mix of subscriptions on Twitch, YouTube AdSense? Are you doing brand deals?
It has been primarily YouTube, Twitch, and then merchandise. That was the last thing. Like U2s and merchandise.
So you don't do many brand deals?
No, I think I've done 2.
Is there a reason for
I
that?
thought you loved brands.
I love brands so much. I love you, brands. Please marry me. But no, I don't know. It's just like I viewed it as I had a bit where I've stopped this now because I had some stern talking to. I had a bit where I was so like, I don't do this for money, that I just started putting copyrighted music in my videos because I was like, now don't do. And it's not because I've sold out. I was like, fuck, this is not worth it. This is very diminishing returns.
Right.
Yeah. I had a video that got like 60 million views that I was like, I'm going to use the ABBA soundtrack in, and now I'm like, I could have just used an equally good Mario song, but you live and you learn.
And now a quick word from the sponsor of today's episode.
So there's this really important metric in the back end of every YouTube creator's channel, and it's called returning viewers. That means someone who will come and watch one of your videos and then watch at least one more in the span of a month. And as creators, this metric is our competitive advantage that separates us from all other businesses who maybe have a product but struggle to find that core audience. And the sponsor of our episode today, Shopify, helps creators like us reach our audiences and sell products. Samir and I have actually been using Shopify long before we were partnered with them. Over 5 years ago, and you may know this, on our channel, we started a skateboard company. We had a pretty small audience at the time. We put out a launch video and the response was completely overwhelming. We could barely keep up with the orders. Shopify made it really easy to get that store up and running, and they continue to make it super easy today for creators. With their new product, Link Pop, you don't even need a Shopify store to start selling. It's a link in bio tool that's designed to be shoppable. So we put the link to our Link Pop in our description, and if you click on it, you'll see all of these different facets of our business. You can buy our storytelling course, you can sign up for our newsletter, and if it wasn't sold out, you could buy our Blue Publish hat, which I know I wear all the time. In the meantime, I just added something new to our Link Pop, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're going to have to go click on it and just find out for yourself. But I will say there are 4 wheels, it's made of wood, and there are not many left. All in all, Link Pop just makes it super easy for you and your audience. In 3 clicks, they can purchase the product and they don't even have to leave the platform. So if you want to have your own shoppable link in bio, make sure to click the link in our description and you can claim your URL for Link Pop. Thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this video. And now back to our conversation with Tommyinnit.
As this has started to take off, like obviously your dad is here with you. You've talked about having a team.
Yep.
You know, you have editors, you have an office. When did this become a business, and who is helping you make this a business?
So most of it's from the business end. It is. I think my PayPal got locked. That's what started it all because I went, "Oh, Dad, can't access my money," and he was like, "What money?" And then he was like, "Oh my god!" So that was. I think that started that, and he had to contact PayPal, being like, "No, this is my son." So YouTube ended a bit like that. And then I think he was sort of a bit taken aback. I got into a bit of trouble because me and my friend Toby Tubbo did a video where we slagged off a Minecraft server, and they were like, "Can't do that." I was like, "Yeah, I can." And then I had to tell my dad, and he was like, "Oh no, you can't do that." But why do they actually care? Oh wait, oh no, they care because you have quite a lot of people looking. And then from then on, me and my dad would have these little meetings in his little office in my house where I'd be like, "Right, don't buy a Lamborghini, please.
Right.
It's your money. You can do what you want, but I would recommend." They're like, "Do you have editors?" Like, "Yeah, PayPal them." "Right. Do you know what an invoice is?" "No." "Okay, well, how are we going to pay taxes?" "What taxes, Dad?"
Yeah.
So kind of a lot of that for 8 months.
Right.
And then sort of when I hit 1 million, we had lots of calls with all the agencies being like, "Yeah, dude." And me and my dad were like, sort of after that, we were like, "Oh, let's just do it ourselves." So we just sort of, me and my dad, then we have a producer called Russ, who I met because he was at my college. He was like when you did the COVID stuff, he ran that. But he's also he had to fill in for someone. And then he taught me at college inadvertently. And also when I did work experience 2 years prior, he was my boss for that. That was oh yeah, we know Russ. Russ is cool. So that was cool. I worked with Russ lots. He's brilliant. The biggest thing I have is an editing team. That's sort of what I have: an editing team and a Minecraft team. And I have Minecraft team. We have 2 guys. One guy mainly called Vinny. Vinny, is this what you want to hear about?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Specifically Vinny.
Cool. Oh, Vinny is the coolest person in the world. Vinny is the fucking best. Vinny, don't leave me for Mr. Beast. But Vinny is he fucking. I'll be like, "Vinny, could we have 1,000 players on a server tomorrow?" He'd be like, "Yep, cool, sounds great."
Oh, that's interesting. So he's like a Minecraft producer, meaning when you need situations to exist in Minecraft, he will create those situations.
He creates a server.
So it's producer part developer though too, right?
He's developer,
building
but also sort of the producer. Well, we have then builders in Minecraft that we do stuff for. And then I have my editing team. So I've worked with Larry since I had 100K. And I pay him $30 or $35 an edit, and he would just go. I don't pay him that now, please. And he'd just go and highlight it down, and he did one for me. I worked with a few editors, and I had big troubles with due dates, people getting shit back to me. I was like, "Oh, I just want someone who's good." Then he got it back on time, and it was better than I could edit. And I was like, This is cool. You just saved a day of my time and did it better than me. And then I have Elodie, who does like sort of more of my vlogs. And those are two people. You know, I think working on sort of these more long form projects, like a book and a live show, has given me the perspective of like, YouTube doesn't need to be perfect. You know, like, I don't need to hyperfixate on every subtitle and if that Animal Crossing song's better than another one, and instead focus on, you know, being like SNL, getting comedy out like once every other week. So I'm sort of going back into that now because I think that makes more sense, and that's what Dream's been telling me to do for like a year. But looping back around, we were like, we could do with a few more people, because I started doing these mega edits, like 100 POVs, because we 100 2-hour-long footage. God bless you, Larry. And we went, we need more editors. That's what we did. I'm very proud of this. And no one could take these editors, YouTubers. One of the things I do, which is a risk, but I think it is worth it, it's just always publicly credit my editors, because it's like, they're the ones who make it all happen. Mm-hmm. But I had a few times where I publicly credited people, and then all these other bigger YouTubers with more money are like, I want you. Right. And so I've had a few get poached. So, but now I'm like, all right, so anyway, what we did was tweet out this form, being like really sort of judicious Google form, being like, right, if you want to edit for me, here's what you need to do. Here's what it's going to take. Like, you know, you have to really have a good sense of comedy. You have to, you know, really get pacing. You have to get jokes. And then we did that. We left that for a week, and we had about 600 people apply. And then Larry watched through those 600 people and narrowed it down to 50 who were really good. And the last one we did was less of like a judicious Google form, so asked less questions, and we had like 2,000 applicants. And we got maybe like 10 people from that. But this time, a year later, we went, right, no. So we made the Google form really... Is this interesting? Is this what you're going to hear? Okay, cool. We've never been able to talk about Google Forms.
Yeah, no, I'm
to people not pretend to be interested in what I'm saying.
This application process.
So they all sent it in, and never had someone listen with this much intent about Google Forms. This is heaven. We got that down to like, I think it was 50 applicants. And then those 50 went through, and we wrote down like what they did best, what they did least good, and then we got all of them to do. We paid them all to do like their own individual edit of like a 60-second clip of my video. We gave them all the footage, all the music. And then all of those were like really good. Then what we did after that, this is where we get a little bit meta, is we wrote down what their highlight was. So we wrote down, right, are they, you know, like this person was really good with the music, and then we were like good with the assembly and stuff, but they were really good with the music. This person's really good with the comedic timing. This person's really good with the, like the subtitle effects. So we have Larry, Elodie, and then like a plethora of subtitlers who would like type it. Because you can't do that fast. So sometimes we'd split that between like Larry and another person, and then they do like 5 minutes each. One time on a video I did 2 minutes, which was like hell. But like, you know, you got it. And then now we have it, so we have a different person for each thing. So sometimes we'll do an edit. So Larry would do an assembly, and then you send it off to the music person. Then the music person sends it back to Larry. He tweaks the music, then sends it to the subtitle person. The subtitle person sends it back. Then he goes through the subtitles. So we have like different people who are good for different bits. And we have about like 8 people in our little editor Discord that we sit and hang out with. But I'm keeping those people more secretive, because I know that within seconds everyone will like them, and I feel very. But like, obviously they can tweet about it. It's no like, but I like not going on like, I
think that's so interesting that that's like a novel concept for us, that you would have different people who specialize in different things.
Right.
When in reality, like in traditional entertainment, of course, they're like the credits are so long. Never would you really ask the person from like the music department to work on like set design.
I'm like bragging
like
about it.
Like, no, but it is like, it's the first time I've ever heard a creator really actually say that.
Yeah.
I think it adds it's effort, isn't it? It's like YouTube, it really shows, and being able to have a person that can focus all their effort on the music and make that better and not have to worry about the rest of it. You know, they've not spent 12 hours previously doing an assembly. They're spending 4 hours doing the music with a fresh mind. It shows, and you have like better music in videos, and better music means jokes land more, and jokes land more just means better videos, and then it's more funny.
Do you have this perspective because you were editing the videos?
Yeah, this vlog I'm filming now, I'm going to edit. All of my first vlogs I edited myself, the first like 5 videos on that channel. Actually, no, the first like, every so often, like every few months, I'll edit a video myself. The only thing I don't do when I say that is I don't do the subtitles, like someone else always does that. Yeah,
your subtitles are like, where did that style come from?
We're on this incredible tour of a troll-themed Norwegian town, but we get into a dumb argument. Our guide saves the day, whispering from behind a troll statue.
Don't fight! You're missing the view! One app, over 300,000 experiences you'll remember. Do more with Viator.
So Call Me Carson and Fitz did subtitles, and I really liked that. And so I had it for a while where it's just Larry, and I like had a few subtitles on the screen. And it was just, I noticed that, so we did videos early Dream SMP that had some subtitles, but not fully. And then I noticed, fuck, the jokes are funnier with the subtitles, and the videos feel more colourful. You know, you can watch my videos on mute, and you can watch my videos like, I think it's really good for people who have like concentration issues. But I just did it because it makes things more like colourful and funnier, and like each person has their own subtitle. It gives it more character. I think that is like brilliant. But that was all very accidental, and just because I was editing, I was like, that was nice.
So you're like essentially running a production company.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess.
Is that management level like stressful for you at all? Of like managing all these different people?
I'm really lucky because my dad has done stuff in the game industry and in, you know, like managed festivals and managed all of that. So he's very good. So all the editors and stuff I do, but sort of the more sort of producey side in real life, my dad's been really helpful with that. Cool. And it's not like I have one of those like Michael Jackson dads who's like, come on, son, you get in the stars, kid. Maybe like he's very, very clear that it's, I don't know why.
I like when he plugs in. Yeah.
You know, it's very like, this is your money, you can do what you want. Yeah. But like,
got it.
I feel very, very lucky because, all right, cool. Dad, I don't like these accountant meetings. Yeah. I did not sign up for this to do money. And it's like, I'll just do them for you. But, you know, you're trusting me with your money. I was like, that's fine. Yeah, that's cool. I just want to make videos. So I've been really lucky that I've been able to like, you know, have another person that I trust everything in and not, you know, you're not worried about this new manager that's going to screw you out. Like in every biographical film about like a pop star, they always have a manager that screws them over. And so far, my dad hasn't done that. That's and good. Then recently, I've started working with.
We're still in Act 1 of your film, though, right?
Yeah, very early. Like you know, Elton John's still in like the first 2 minutes of Rocket Man. But I have these two other managers called Elspeth and Brona, who are really cool, who manage Jan TDM, cool, and they're like really sound. They're just fucking like help me out with shit, but they've only been working with that, still sort of finding my footing because it's been like the last like 6 months we started working together.
I mean, this is all so new. This is all
it's all new, right? And like, it's great.
Yeah. With all these people, have you sort of reassessed what success means or what your next goal is, or is it still just concentrate on the YouTube videos?
So I guess now what I find successful is making people laugh. And I love the number aspect of it. And I love this video game that is the algorithm and reading the published newsletter and like listening to Mr. Beast and having Dream tell me like 30 critiques on a new thing and being like, yes, this is awesome. Let me change all this. But like the times I felt the most fulfilled is when someone's been like, that was really funny. That's what gets me in my soul, I think. So now I love YouTube and social media and this internet bubble. But now I've spent 4 years doing that and I'm really passionate about it. And now I feel like it's, you know, I haven't completed it. Like there's so much more to do, but I've done enough. Like I'm not, you know, I would sort of want to rid that pressure of expectancy to keep doing more and do more because I love it and I can and it's great and people will receive what I make and it's so exciting. And then as well as doing that and putting in tons of effort and sort of figuring out like, okay, why am I going to tweet this? Why am I going to make a YouTube video? And it was like every time I went to do something, I was like, yeah, but why? Not because I didn't want to, but just because I didn't like know. Am I making a TikTok because I enjoy it or because it is what I do? If it is just what I do, why not I just change what I do because I don't like need to? Yeah. Really aligning with that, which I'm still in the process of doing. But I feel like I'm nearing the end of that. And then, you know, going and sort of dipping my feet in, you know, do I like writing a book? Is this how does this feel? Do I like doing a live show? And you know, like trying music or just all different and like what is acting, like trying that, seeing am I passionate about it? Because I find when I'm passionate about something, I'm really driven and can just get on with it and there's not, you know, anything. But I think aligning with that because, you know, like am I still passionate about getting millions of views or not? And you know, not just pausing the treadmill, but stopping it and going, right, let's realign. I think that is...
Are you still passionate about it?
Yeah. That's good. Like, I'm really passionate about making YouTube videos, but that's so, you know, that's like saying I'm really passionate about breathing. Like, actually, that's really shit. That's like saying I'm really passionate about, like, Lego. Like, what Lego? Like, do you like Star Wars more or the Back to the Future Lego? Or do you... I can only do analogies with video games or things or movies.
I'll try one. Yeah. It's like saying you're really passionate about playing sports. Which sport?
I've never played sports.
Okay.
That's not going to land. Yeah.
No, but totally,
Before he
you're
came
right.
in, we said no sports.
No sports talk. We did say no sports talk.
It is, right? Like, no, what are you in,
Yeah.
like, do you like cycling or basketball, or like, climbing? Like,
I actually think that's why the term creators is almost absurd.
Yeah.
Because we're so different.
What does that mean?
Like,
creating something out of clay is a creator. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
it's
but like
confusing
we're
as well.
completely different from you. Like what you make is totally different from what we make. Yes, we're uploading it to the same platform, but it's like, and the goals are completely different, and the opportunities are completely different, and the problems are completely different.
Yeah.
It's all different.
When it gets down to it, it's not just that you like making YouTube videos, it's that you like making videos that make people laugh, right? That gives you that response back.
Yeah, and that, like, I know it's good, but I think still figuring that out and going, one of my plans, what I'm going to do after my live show. So I'm really quite busy at the moment with sort of finishing this book, and then this live show, which is really nearly done. Come July 1st, like, have just like a week chilling out, and then write down, of all the things I've done, here are the things I like enjoyed the most. And then out of all the things that have done well, here are the ones that I enjoyed the most when they've done well. Like what it's like seeing a blow up TikTok or a blow up, or when my live show sold out, like how that felt. And then sort of go, right, like, okay, what do I actually want to do? And sort of rearrange that so I'm not so much like, it can be so easily muscle memory, just checking a Instagram post, how many likes it has. And I've totally really been caught in that vicious sort of bullying algorithmic cycle, trying to stop that and go, right, it's going to make me the most happy and successful and I'll enjoy. So then I can do that and do it better, because I feel like this past 6 months I've not been so in touch with myself as I'd like to be. I've not been touching myself as much as I should be.
How do you, in your words, touch yourself more? How do you get in touch? Like, I think
it's about pleasure, isn't it?
It's about, we're getting into
Tom,
pleasure.
I just want to say, like, that was a perfect mix of something that was so unbelievably genuine and powerful mixed with just perfectly timed comedy.
Thank you. Well, the
was
thing is,
great.
I'm perfect.
Right.
In all ways.
Right.
Don't worry, I'm never genuine.
Okay.
Don't worry.
So, I think
Thank you.
whenever we talk with creators, a lot of times when they talk about being burnt out, experiencing creator burnout, it's because they hit a wall of purpose, not always because like there's too much that they're doing. And it sounds like that's what you went through, right? Like you were going through a period of time of every time you're posting, you're thinking, why am I doing this? How have you been active about trying to navigate out of that place of why do I do this back to this is why I do this?
So I think the way I solved it at the time was I had like a lot of long chats with my dad walking around the park. I did a lot of like calling different YouTubers and a lot of chatting until, I sort of came to different realizations, which was, fuck, man, I'm not like confident. Like I don't like feel, like I'm like good. I don't.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, I don't know. And I'm like, why don't I feel like that? Is that like a British thing that no one ever compliments each other? Is that like, like seriously, no one does.
Yeah.
Like, is that like, is it like, why? And then it was sort of speaking to lots of different people. And then finally, after speaking to all these people, going, right, this is fine. I've solved quite a lot of issues. I've, done some actual things, like making that Tinder video by myself. So I can be like, fuck, yeah, cool. I can do that. That's great. Like reminding myself. And then really having like a moment where I go, right, I've heard what Logan Paul and my dad and Wilbur and Casey Neistat and Mr. Beast and Dream and Mark Rober and all of these people in the world think, stop for a second, turn everything off. What do I want? And I think doing that was really important, because then I can go, just like making things, and sort of it's often the most simple things that can hit you going, oh shit, especially moving out by myself sort of really calls that burnout, because it's like, I'm either hanging out with my friends or working, and there's not this time where I'm just like picking up dog shit or unloading the dishwasher or on a walk with my mum. Like I'm not just like being, and so refining that, going, let's get some hobbies. It's like a quote from the book that we were talking about, right?
There we go.
It's in the future everyone's going to be a director.
Right.
Everyone's got a mobile phone, but we need someone who's going to live a real life that we can make movies about. And I found that I've done that really well the past year since moving out, but since I moved by myself, that's suddenly a new problem of, fuck, I need to like live a real life. And I didn't like, have a lot, and sort of making some friends, like real confident, like the way I met my friends was being in a coffee shop and being like, they look cool. After like a month of being lonely and going up and going, hi, do you want, and they were like, yeah, all right. And so now I've got like mates, and that was, like I think just try stuff and, really knowing your strengths and like knowing I'm not entirely very calculated, and I'm good at expanding on stuff, but I'm not like, be able to predict stuff, but I can make things. And I think the thing I'm most proud of myself about is being able to make these sort of really high produced, really like high quality videos very frequently. Like in a 2-hour recording, I can record something that's really funny and then publish that and edit that really well within a week. And I can do that every week, and it doesn't like take a lot out of me. It takes me, 2 hours of recording and then like 5 hours of thumbnailing, editing, reviewing, post-process, which not long to make, 7 hours to make a video I'm really proud of.
Yeah, that's not very long. And I also think if it doesn't take a lot out of you and it gives you energy, if you're excited by it, then that's like...
Exactly, right? And that's like, I've never even thought about it that way. I love doing this. This is really exciting.
Well, there you go.
I'm a big fan
there
of
you go. The one thing I found really interesting in your impulsive interview, which was a fascinating conversation. First of all, I actually just want to ask you, like, was it like a comfortable experience to have that interview? No.
It seemed intense.
I really, genuinely really like Logan. I think he's really cool. Every time I spoke to him, he's probably weirdly one of like the funniest people I know. I wish he'd do more comedy because we riff so well. That interview was hard. I went in, they just came off like a fucking plane. Logan Paul constantly has a cameraman with him, which you have to get used to. And he just starts rolling and doesn't really say hi. I'm like, hi, how are you guys? And they're like, oh, we're good, man. Let's just save it for the interview. And then I go up there and there's all these other YouTubers and they're just fucking, I don't care. They're just like really sucking up to Logan. I'm just stood there like alone, like, what the fuck is that? And whenever I'm a bit panicked in a social environment, I just start filming because I'm like, you can take things seriously or you can just make them funny. So I just start making funny being a dickhead. And then I kind of vibe with Logan. I'm like, okay, cool. But then I do the podcast and about 10 minutes way through, I'm like, I kind of want to leave. This is really socially challenging.
Interesting.
Because it was like, we're sort of bouncing off each other, like aiding each other. We're trying to we're both passionate about YouTube, so we want to just like learn and have a great time. That was like CNN. That was like, let's catch him on the spot. Let's get him to say he has a girlfriend. Let's get him to talk about sex like that he wouldn't usually, so we can get the clip. And I was like, fuck. Right. But I'm quite lucky because I think my sort of personality is swapping between very serious and very silly.
Right.
And that was when I kind of was like, I kind of get this now. And then it became really fun. It was about 20 minutes at the start where I was like, this is the hardest situation I've ever been in. This is really weird.
Wow. One thing that you said on there was you referenced Bo Burnham a lot.
I look up to Bo Burnham a lot and stuff like that. You're in a Bo Burnham song, Logan. If Bo Burnham posted Inside on YouTube, it would not have blown up like it did on Netflix.
And I'm just curious, back to the beginning of the conversation around inspiration and where you were pulling from. How has Bo Burnham played into like your character on YouTube?
Not lots at all. I only discovered him after Bo Burnham Inside. I was like, this is really good. A bit sad, but really good. Yeah. And then I think he's sort of felt very resonant with him over the past, lots of the points he made during Inside. I really like Can't Handle This. I thought that was, when I've had difficult times, that song's really been like, but he's done a lot of things that really speak to me.
Come and watch the skinny kid with a steadily declining mental health and laugh as he attempts to give you what he cannot give himself.
But yeah, I think especially at that time, Inside just came out and I was addicted to the songs, and Logan Paul's in a Bo Burnham songs. That just happened to be like, It was just quite exciting.
Is there anything from Bo Burnham though where you take inspiration when it comes to how he goes about his career, like working on one big project and releasing it, something that's more, something that can go on Netflix, something like that, as opposed to falling into a weekly type of cycle on YouTube?
Yeah, I think there's two things. I think there's one, Bo Burnham doesn't seem like the type of guy that's stressed about TikTok analytics. He seems like someone who just kind of does what he wants to do and is good at it and puts in effort, which I aspire to be. I aspire to be less stressed and more just fucking making things I'm passionate about. And I think too, that idea of that you can, because Inside I think felt very YouTube, it felt homemade, which is a rare thing for Netflix. Yeah. So see sort of that breakthrough for me was like, I had a few months of being like, I'd love to do something on Netflix, I'd love to. And if the opportunity sort of arose, I would now, but I'm not like striving for it. But I think that was very inspirational of, wow, you can just be really good. It was just the Casey Neistat times a million of, if you just have a phone.
Yeah.
And I know he had obviously more than a phone, but like, you can do anything. Like, this is great.
That for me felt like so well thought out and so well articulated. Is that something like in your bits, are you thinking about your comedy in advance? Are you writing down ideas before you start streaming or before you make a YouTube video? Like how planned are some of those, or how much writing are you doing into your content?
So I'm about to do a live show, so that's quite a lot more writing. That's been quite a different experience for me. But everything I do is improv on the spot. I think my humor, my strength is being very adaptive, very like immediately, saying a joke and then seeing if people laugh lots or don't laugh very much, and then going more that, less that. Especially streaming has really hardwired that into me because I like lots of pressure, but I really like that. So yeah, it's always been improvised. But I think now I've just done a book as well with Wilbur. We're like about to publish that in October. At first, it was really challenging and quite stressful, and has turned really fun once I found it. So I think I'm really up for doing more things like that. I love YouTube and I love the internet, but on YouTube, it's all about showing yourself very authentic and making like a 20-minute video. On Twitter, it's about encapsulating it in a word that everyone won't forget and it's funny. On TikTok, it's about doing it sort of fast and then twisting those. Like, what if you do it for long on TikTok? I find that really interesting and fun.
I wanted to ask you about around the concept of art. Actually, specifically on Impulsive, you referred to what you do as making art.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, like, if you could expand on that, and what is the art, and is everything that's uploaded to YouTube art?
Whoa, okay.
Now we're in it.
Tommy. I think social media is a video game.
Yeah.
That's how I view it, how I make sense of it. I think Burnham's Inside re-release got 5 million views on YouTube, and I can, I've made like a Minecraft prison video that also got 5 million views. I think his is better than what I do. And I think the more easier example is, if he posted Inside, the first one on YouTube, it would be a 10 of 10. It might not get recommended because it was too slow. If they posted Squid Game on YouTube, no one would see it because it's in like, you wouldn't get recommended because it's a Spanish area. Like when I was in Mexico, I went on my like YouTube on my Nintendo Switch and it was like Spanish Mr. Beast, right? It would only be recommended in South Korea. So I think YouTube is a video game. And I think there are so many things, like I could watch like any video and I think I have like 30 critiques within a minute of like why it's got less views, what's the problem, where's the thumbnail, which I'm sure you guys do as well. And every YouTuber has different critiques. That is sort of less so the making of art, because if you like open your video with 5 seconds of black silence and then it's perfectly the same video, the video's not going to get as many views, which is absurd. Right? Because what? Like you need to allow time for things to sit and people need to experience new things, Like I think my worry with the internet and sort of the creator sort of economy is that people don't experiment enough and experience new things. Like Squid Game, everyone was really into. It is a South Korean battle royale. Like, who would have predicted we'd all find that fun? And I think you get into this really clear circle of like chasing views and not like sort of making, because it is still art, but it's not like creative. It's in the same way, Fast and Furious 11 and Everything Everywhere All at Once. One's going to win an Oscar and one's going to make more money. But that's like, and so I think
it's good.
Thank you.
Yeah. We've been talking a lot.
I got the seal of approval. Yeah. You didn't, bitch. I think. Sorry.
We've been talking a lot about Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Doesn't matter.
Just like how much interpretation you need to watch that film. Like to sit down and like watch it. First of all, make it through the 2 hours plus.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. If that's on YouTube,
it's going to be a 10 of 10. It's got too slow. It opens with the slow. It's like
opens
fucking
so slow, and it doesn't make sense. And
totally. And that art, I think the idea of the massive company that wants to make more money, because what it does is why it's fast, is because then people watch more things and then they get more money. Controlling how art is made is not inherently good. Is YouTube? That's such a loaded question. And I'm like,
is what you're making art?
I think so. And I think acknowledging that it's a video game, but that it can still be artful and still be good. And, like I can see a video and know why it gets less views, but that doesn't mean that it's worse. It just means it's going to be, in only terms of YouTube view count and monetarily, less successful. Not in terms of quality. And quality doesn't reflect view count and subscribers. Some of the best YouTubers I know have less views. The easiest, most obvious example is question, do McDonald's make the best burgers?
I don't really eat McDonald's burgers. That's a Colin question.
Yeah, I would say no.
Yeah, right. And probably the local burger place that that's really high quality does. What sells more?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like obviously, and immediately like, oh yeah, you could go to a fucking KFC or the local steakhouse that's fucking amazing, really expensive. One of them makes a lot more money, but it's not better. And so for me, what I make a big effort to do on all social medias is really understand the video game of it, you know, so really make a conscious effort to constantly understand it, you know, and so extend it and also sort of push it and experiment with it. But remember, I have these really like fast-paced video intros because I know that's what you need. But then like, and I subtitle it, and now I realize because it's quite good for retention and stuff. But also, yeah, I think what I make is art, but it is on YouTube. And if it was on some Netflix, it'd be slower and higher quality, and I put more time into it. But I still love it. But acknowledging it's this algorithm, and I need to make my videos fast-paced. I need to have my face in the thumbnail so people know it's me. And distinguishing the content is art. That's great, and it's so fun. It's funny, and we have a great time, and that's like brilliant. And different things I do are sort of more and less quality. There's like two elements of success. There's quality, and there's how many views it's going to get, and they are two different lines. And sometimes they really do line up really well, you know. But I think remembering that, and not letting an algorithm determine quality, because it doesn't. If YouTube today decided they want everyone to make 13.5-minute videos, everyone would start making 13.5-minute videos. Right. And I changed the format of my videos to fit that. I really pride myself in having this middle ground of really listening to the algorithm, really making an effort to have these fast-paced intros, have these good thumbnails, have this sort of, you know, constant like fun, cutting the boring bits, but still making it high quality and making, you know, getting people in with what they think they want, and then giving them what they want, and having actual moments with me and my friends, having a lot of fun, and, you know, like not taking it too seriously and it like being good. So I think it's that really delicate middle ground. And sometimes I'll fall too much the wrong way, and I'll make something that I think is really good, and then I did an in public video I was super, super proud of, but it was a bit too slow and a bit too like cringy, and the thumbnail I didn't spend any time on, and it didn't get many views. Then other times I go the other way, and I'll look so much at what Mr. Beast Gaming's doing, and I did like a 1 versus 1,000 and titled it a bit similarly, and it didn't have as much success. So I think the thing that I remember, which Dream taught me, which really helps me, is remembering the reasons why I'm successful and amplifying those. So, you know, I think it's my funniness, I think it's my editing, and I think it's my like dynamics, and I think it is my balls. I think it is like the confidence, right? Like the silliness of it. And then going, well, how can I make those more amplified? Tonight I'm going to go to Charlie D'Amelio's party in Los Angeles in a stinky ass fucking red top and be a dickhead. I think that's amplifying it quite well. And, you know, how can I amplify the funniness? What if the entire time I show up looking like a weirdo? Like I just, you know, I could do that. And I think like remembering, you know, the editing, how do I make it better? Like we started having like more replay mod shots in videos, and I think that was really smooth, by the way.
I didn't see that coming.
It didn't see it coming.
You know,
It's great.
And I think like it becomes quite clear, as opposed to thinking about it as what everyone else is doing.
It is challenging though to not do what everyone else is
so
doing.
hard.
It's super hard
And it
because
you don't know.
Yeah, you're just looking at it and you're like, and also I think YouTube is the platform of comparison.
Yeah.
I mean, social media is, but like we are all comparing ourselves to each other.
And the basis of it is wanting to be validated for what you're putting out there, and for a lot of people also making income. Like there's a business to the right type of format.
Absolutely.
The right type of thumbnail.
Yeah.
How do you internalize that? Like, does it keep you from being able to innovate? Do you think it keeps the entire platform from being able to innovate?
Yeah, I think there's a really I think it's a plague. I think there's a really bad thing going on at the moment. I think what Mr. Beast does is amazing. I think his videos are great. I really loved the Squid Game. I like everyone else on the planet. But I like, you know, not all of his videos are for me. And I think the problem has been what I was saying about amplifying the reasons why you're popular. I think so many individual YouTubers, including myself, have seen that Mr. Beast gets the most views, and he's amplified why he's popular. But because he just gets on paper the most views, everyone else has tried to be more like Mr. Beast. I bet if you could see the search result of $10,000 in a YouTube title, it's gone up fucking by so much. And he's like started trends, and you can put your own spin on them, and that's like cool as fuck. But like, I'm so exhausted by these sort of hyper real thumbnails and these sort of like, you know, money in the title, money being the prompt of everything, that I think it is really, you know, it's almost forced Mr. Beast to keep progressing himself because everyone else is sort of caught up with him. And I think it isn't good for creativity, in that because it's his echo chamber of no one's out living their own life and making art about it. Instead, they're seeing what someone else who's found out 4 years ago giving money to Twitch streamers, makes views and amplified that, is doing. On paper gets the most views, and now everyone else has started doing that. And I think it's bad for creativity. I think it's really like not good. And I don't think what Mr. Beast is doing is bad, but I think people should really have, you know, have confidence and look at themselves, because especially if you're a big YouTuber, you're good at, like, you're really good, you know, and how can you make that better and amplify that and like be great? I think this sort of current climate, you know, but also people sort of like missing the point, like the reason Mr. Beast does these massive thumbnails of him hanging off a cliff like that and looking up. No one thinks he's hanging off of a fucking cliff, but it's because he's hyper real. You know, it's like you know something insane is going to happen, and that demonstrates the most hyperbole version of that. Yeah. And then him pulling a face, and like you know that isn't real, and you know the Squid Game screenshot isn't actually what happened, but you can see that is like, I learned this from Dream. Apologies, Dream, for telling everyone. But like, you can see that is like hyper real and not that. But then so many people do this hyper real effect of like that plant, and it's like that's not what you're meaning to do. And I feel like people misinterpret it because of his success. And so, you know, I think the person I've been most proud of, most changed my perception of YouTube recently, has obviously been Ryan Trahan, and you guys, like everyone else, because he is like really looked in his soul and gone, what am I good at as a person? What am I really, you know, good at? How can I connect with people in my way by using this super, you know, being awkward in like the editing style of keeping it in, having these super simplistic, brilliant thumbnails of like using my font and like owning my style and being confident with it, you know, and not trying to be Mr. Beast while still taking elements of this other trend that is great and wonderful, you know, of like this sort of like clear. I think what Mr. Beast has done is like really formatted the like classic cinema story to be like obvious, like but the biggest thing that they do on YouTube, again, because it's a video game, is rather than having what most movies do is a really long, slow resolution. If Avengers Endgame was on fucking YouTube, they would have cut the incredibly emotional funeral scene because it wouldn't have been good for retention, and that is fucking stupid to say. So I think just remembering that, being acknowledging of that, and then still figuring out your own way to make art is really, really good. And I worry about this sort of current Mr. Beast climate because it's getting exhausting. But, you know, with every sort of culture comes a counterculture. And Ryan, you know, and I'd like to think I've played a part in that, of like being really yourself, like unapologetically yourself. So, you know, but still acknowledging these new things that we know about YouTube. Because if we know these things about YouTube now, we would have been doing them 5 years ago, but we don't. And like everything on the internet is accidental. You know, like Mr. Beast just thought, I'll give money to streamers, why not? And then did it.
Then it worked.
And then went, and then it is the talent of going, I've done that accident, how do I expand on that? Which he does, you know, perfectly. And same with like my first vlog, I was like, I'd do that, would be fun. And I think experimenting more while also like being yourself. Everyone is different and everyone is themselves in a different way. And quite frankly, everyone can make it work for YouTube because it is a video game. I think it's really important. And I really worry about this current. I don't really worry about it. I just think it's bullshit.
I think, because I'm seeing this a lot now, that people think like YouTube is stale and the Mr. Beastification of YouTube is a problem. And I assume that a lot of the people who have these thoughts are passionate about it because they fell victim to it themselves. Us as well. Of like, you know, trying to skew too much towards what he was doing. And I think you bring up, you know, when there's
named my actual examples.
Yeah, you bring up that like, you know, with it being the culture right now, there's going to be a counterculture. And I would argue that like there's been a counterculture, but it's just not what people have elevated to the top of the creator economy discussion. You know, that there have been creators that, you know, have uploaded like 45-minute hiking montages of themselves, like Craig Adams, right? Someone who will upload an hour and a half of himself just hiking the Alps solo. With like really slow shots.
Yeah, and not like
was that like
crazy
a
thumbnails.
Big video?
I mean, they do really
well.
A million views.
I guess the difference is the amount of viewership. You kind of have to bucket the people who are looking to make YouTube a business in the 50 and 60 millions of views.
Yeah, because they're like great, but is my mate's little sister going to watch them because she watches Mr. Beast? And I think that's what the counterculture is, almost this thing that is like almost as big as that. And I think that is, because I think you're right that people have been doing that, but I think Ryan is making that sort of mainstream in the same way, you know, like Jaws made horror films suddenly mainstream because they did it in a way that was really like understandable. I think that is going to be the process in the next year, which I think is good. And I'm like, you know,
I wonder what's next after, you know, Ryan and you, and like what's even further away from what Mr. Beast is
I mean, I
doing.
actually think though it's not further; it's just cyclical. Because like again, when we're
cyclical, but with new knowledge.
with
right?
new knowledge, yeah. Because when we first started watching YouTube, it was people speaking straight into their webcams.
Yeah,
it was super raw, right? It was people speaking into their webcams, talking about what they were doing, and again, sometimes vlogging. There are days where they had nothing really going on, and people were fascinated by seeing something that was real.
I actually found Emma Chamberlain because of your lot's videos. I'd never watched her before, and then I started. You look so. Like,
I'm surprised. I can't believe we introduced someone to Emma Chamberlain.
Oh, sorry. So I started watching. I was like, oh, that's quite good. I like this.
Do you like Emma's videos?
Yeah, I really like her. I really would like to be. There's two people I really, really would like to be pals with, and that's Emma Chamberlain and Charlie D'Amelio, because it's like they've both been 17 and had popularity and had that in their brain. So I'm like, fuck, we can have a bloody good chat. And like, actually, like, I feel like it's quite a rare scenario to have been like exactly in.
Does that concern you at all?
What, sorry?
Just the popularity you have at this age. Like, is that something that's on your mind?
I'm really it used to be when I was outside about 80% of what's on my mind. Now it's like 3% of what's on my mind. I like barely, I am really sort of fortunate for it now. But it took a long while of like working out how I'm going to view this in a positive light. And if it is positive, but I've got there. So I'm very...
Are there any like negative downsides to it that you found?
I think you just got to be careful of like the people you're with, because, you can accidentally put other people in the public eye, and that is not what everyone wants. So you just have to sort of be considerate about different factors you wouldn't usually be.
Yeah, I found it really interesting. There's like, especially the people in the SMP have this kind of Beatles-esque fandom around them.
I'm very excited for VidCon. That's going to be weird.
Yeah, it is. And will that be VidCon and your live show? Or is that kind of
My
like
first?
Those are your first like in-person fan
a
moments.
total wipeout video, and there were like 12 people waiting who like knew that we were going. Because I've met like lots of people who know me in England, but most of them are like have seen me in a Sidemen video. That's it. But yeah, I met 12 people who like knew that we were there, so waited like the whole day, and I saw them and they screamed like they were 2,000 people, and it was so like I could feel like it's been a hard days. I was like, holy shit, this is awesome, but what the fuck? Yeah. So I think I'm gonna get a massive ego and be terrible after VidCon.
Yeah, I can feel that from you.
I mean, at VidCon, a lot of you are on a panel together, right?
Yeah, all just jerking each other off. Yeah. It's gonna be awful. Yeah.
I would like to come to that.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have put footage over this while we've been talking
this is
about
us with you at that event.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that we're watching right now. Wild. Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nuts. It got out of hand.
What's the difference between Tommyinnit and Tom Simons? Is there a difference?
The channels?
The personality?
Cool. It's weird. In my head now, it's like Tommyinnit, the internet, and I'm just like Tom. That's like me.
Okay,
right?
you're Tom. You're
Tom
not
Simons
Tom
now is my vlog channel.
Okay, so now there's three.
Weird.
So paint me the picture of Tommyinnit, Tom Simons, Tom.
I am a robot. So Tom, like just me. I'm just a fucking person. And then I think these are sort of just different like versions of it. I think Tom Simons is slightly more sort of real and exposing than Tommyinnit, and I sort of make sort of more candid things like about relationships, not like girlfriends, but like like with being with friends and like sort of opening that slightly wider lens I wouldn't usually, but having it sort of very contained, and allowing things to be a bit more like about life and stuff. And Tommyinnit is sort of more of like a extreme version of my humor and personality, and just like made to be silly and ridiculous, and like I think those would be. I think I'm going to have slightly more of a Tom-esque place on the internet soon, which would be weird because I'll have to. For me, I won't. But like a place to talk a bit more seriously about stuff. Because I have quite a lot of views about YouTube and views on YouTube, but like a lot of views. I'm so depressed, but a lot of views like about different things. So I think like allowing that to have like a place to like express it. Sort of creatively.
Different things about YouTube specifically.
Well, YouTube and shit, they're like just a place for me to talk about it. Like I don't have that slightly more serious outlet because I don't have that currently. And this is sort of interviews have been that, which I'd love, but I think I'd like to have a bit more my own control of that and have a bit of that would be sort of a part of my image to people, like have a slightly more serious side. Because currently, especially the past few years, has been very in the shadows.
Sure. Yeah. I was actually really surprised to hear that you read our newsletter.
Yeah.
Bulk Press. I thought that was really cool that you said that. But I guess now after speaking to you for so long, it makes sense. You're like truly a student of this platform, but also just a member of the community that cares about it.
Thank you. Yeah.
How do you view like this next chapter of YouTube evolving from not just from the content that's posted on YouTube, but from the things that people who are creating YouTube videos, like what they will do? Like you mentioned earlier in the interview that you want to maybe try acting.
Yeah.
You want to, and that's something that we do in the newsletter. We cover these stories of people who are using YouTube or using social to go do, other things. Do you think that is like the natural progression of, like Justin Bieber was discovered on YouTube, Shawn Mendes was discovered on Vine. Like, is this the modern version of just everyone in entertainment will have come from YouTube?
Like, the great thing about social media is everyone gets discovered for like their stuff, and that's like fucking cool. I think the thing that happens, and this will be cyclical, as you said, is we all know now from all the past YouTubers that did it, and very few of them made it through, other than like Joji. Right, when you quit, if you want to go do other stuff, don't stop doing YouTube, because this is your core fan base. This is like where people are, is what people signed up for. Don't stop doing this. And I think we're going to sort of end up, as people do, trying new things and different things. Might be more successful than them, might be less successful than them. But like naturally that progression of doing different things. But the main lesson, of course there's lots of others, from all the other people that have tried it, were don't stop doing YouTube as well as this. Like, don't quit unless you hate it. And unless it doesn't align with your personal goals. So
do you think that's why KSI is having success in music?
Yeah, 100%, because he didn't quit. Like, he's still as relevant, if not bigger. On same with like Wilbur and Lovejoy. Yeah. Like he has a massively successful band because he still and that fan base becomes the same, and that's the KSI fan base still watches his stuff, but he's still as present as he's ever been, if not like more.
Right.
So I think that's the biggest lesson we've learned. But I reckon in 5 years' time, when we've all done different stuff, I've toured the entire world and have 8 books. Like, there's all these new people that are coming in and doing stuff that will have learned a load of lessons from like what we've done wrong. And I think provided it. I know everyone always, whenever you talk about YouTube's like, it could go next year. Like, it's probably not going to, is it? Yeah. Like, in 20 years' time, when everyone's looking at YouTubers, like, if we knew what they know in 20 years' time, we'd be doing it now already.
No, that answered the question.
Cool.
I think in general, creators will end up looking more like KSI down the road, where it's you going into live shows or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They will have that other thing that they want to explore, but they will retain some sort of low lift format on YouTube. Like KSI, he just reacts to his Reddit to show his audience that he's there, and they're good videos for the community. Like, it makes them laugh, right? Like, it delivers on the same value.
Totally.
But he can manage those while he performs at the Brit Awards.
Yeah, I think it's like exactly that. I think it will be very sort of similar to KSI, maybe like less and more sort of delicate stuff. So I think like one of the things that is less so with comedy, but with like everything else, is like effort. Is that like you make a big video like Squid Game and then you publish that, and that's like sick. You don't have to post one daily like you used to. So I think seeing, I think there might be people that post like less and then do other stuff, but still posting and still just showing that loyalty in what you're posting, as long as you still enjoy it, is going to be really important, is the biggest lesson.
Have you thought about your output? Like, how much output you want to have as you go into writing books and doing live shows and doing other things? Like, how much comedy, how much content you want to be putting out?
Yeah, I think I always want to do like a good amount. There's a loyalty. I love it. I think making an effort, just keeping trying. I think a lot of people stop trying for a bit, and I know I've had little points where I've stopped trying that have lasted a few weeks. But like keeping trying and keeping like making is really, I sort of keep want to do that because I love it. But for me as well, I'm much less about that like massive idea of success and more about like keeping in touch with myself and touching myself and being like happy. So like I know, like what are my goals, and that'll change over time. And that like, so if in 15 years I don't want to make YouTube videos, like I won't. That's in 15 years. Who fucking, like, I didn't even know what I was going to do 2 years ago. Where I am now. So I can't.
2 years ago, you were, playing piano, and I have no idea what you're doing. I don't know why I assumed.
2 years ago, I would have been
playing piano.
2 years ago, I would have been fucking in COVID with 110k daily uploading because Ludwig was not really knowing what I was doing, getting sad because I've been daily uploading for 2 months and thought that was the only way to be successful.
Right.
Like, and I think that is, I don't think the internet's ever changing. The weirdest thing I think about is how 2 years ago, there wasn't a TikTok that everyone was on all the time. That's like one of the first things I've been like, I can remember what it was like before TikTok. Like, that's the first thing I've been able to go like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Guessing you can.
I saw a headline on I saw this headline on Twitter today from 20 years ago that said internet a passing fad.
Yeah,
it said like people losing interest at high rates.
Yeah, right. Fucking hell.
It's like 20 years ago. Like you can't even imagine now.
Yeah,
right. Something like that.
I really wonder what the next TikTok things will be. I think the way I've always thought about how brands think about it is it's like right now we are not on a screen, so we're not looking at ads, so no one's making money. And I feel like the big brands view that as a problem to solve.
Oh, interesting.
If I had an Apple Watch, I'd be looking at that and there might be a little advert and then it's like that. And I think because the idea of TikTok, the way they came about it was when you're having a shit or you're a bit bored for a few minutes, you're not looking at anything. And now that problem's solved because when you're having a shit, you're on TikTok. When you're like bored waiting, you're on TikTok. And I think the way to sort of predict where it's going to go, unless there's a huge sort of cultural reset, like speaking to Jacksepticeye, his prediction is that in like 5 years, it's going to be like uncool to go on your phone. Like you're going to look weird because everyone is at the moment, like everyone is. And unless there's sort of that, which there might be, there might not be. I think the problem is going to be solving why aren't we looking at adverts right now? Because no one's making money.
Wow.
I think
that
was my, after thinking about it for a few hours, I was like, yeah.
I think it's interesting to predict the future through the lens of the problem of capitalism.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting way to predict the future.
Me and my dad spent loads of time just talking about where tech's going to go because we're really interested in it. Like, our tradition is watching the Apple keynote and being like,
right.
So I was there when AirPods came out.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah, like,
amazing.
As someone that reads the published press, watches our channel, do you have any advice for us of what we could do better?
Asana helps you keep track of all the details in one place, so you and your team can stay focused on the work and the goals that matter most. Try it for free at asana.com.
I think just looking at what you do and then sort of expanding the aspects of it. I think there's I think the amount of people in the entire world at the moment that want to be YouTubers and learn about it is the highest it's ever been. So I think, I think there's ways, in the way that the full story of Mr. Beast got fuck tons of views because it's high scope, to utilize that more, I think that you'll figure out naturally. I think there is still a massive audience that you guys will hit that will be sick. But I think figuring out different ways of making them and being sort of experimental with them, as well as keeping the sort of loyalty of what you're doing now. So keeping doing these formats and keeping having chats about YouTube, but like seeing, does a documentary get more views? And looking at, because thumbnails are all about the most people that can understand it, and like sort of trying different things and then being like not being afraid because you've been doing it for 10 years. Not everyone's going to disappear if you have one thumbnail that you do differently and like try it every so often. I think the importance of healthy risk and experimenting is something on YouTube no one does enough of. So I think sort of trying that and then going, oh shit, I think you'll definitely hit something that, in the same way that I started watching you from the full story of Carl, which is not like your other videos.
Right.
And now I watch all your videos. I think that is something you could sort of experiment more of. Do you have any advice for me? I always ask this is the thing I ask everyone. Do you have advice for me? What you said earlier about channeling energy into your videos, I almost got out my phone and wrote down. I'm like, holy shit.
I think I said this to you when we were chatting on Discord, but after watching you on Impulsive and now after spending 2 hours with you, I actually do personally, maybe selfishly, want a channel or a space where you are Tom. Like, I think you have very unique perspective on all of this. And I think like the speed at which this all happened for you, like the accelerated growth and the vantage point you have on it, I think is a really important thing for the same reason you just said. There's loads of people who want to become YouTubers. I think you can help them understand what that even means. What does that mean
Yeah.
to be, to do this career. This career is very confusing to people. Like, and then you get into it, and I don't know if you experienced this, but maybe you hit a point where you achieved the goal that you wanted to achieve, and you're like, well, am I happy?
Yeah.
Is this it? And I think that's going to be confusing to a lot of young people.
When you mentioned wanting to have a conversation with Charli D'Amelio and Emma Chamberlain about what it's like to be have this type of popularity at the age of 17 or 18, I think what an amazing conversation or video you could make with them that you're uniquely in that position to start that type of conversation.
Very interesting. Yeah.
I think telling those stories about like what is this actually like?
Yeah, I think I'll do that after my show. That's like, I'll start my little Tom channel. Yeah, talk over Minecraft gameplay.
I'm just disappointed you're not wearing the shirt, to be honest.
I was gonna,
yeah,
but I thought, I don't know. You know what? Oh, I could have done. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I feel like there was a clear choice this morning when I could, or I could. Saving it for VidCon, to be honest with you. I was like,
cool. Tommy, we'll see you in.
Cool. I fully, every time I come to LA, if it's okay with you, I'll book an extra day so we can have another chat. This is
that would be amazing.
This is great.
That'd be amazing.
I would do this every time. Talk about current stuff. It's great.
And we're going to come to your side of town this year. We're going to spend a day with you. We'll do a documentary.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Amazing. Tommy.
Great.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.